Hey everybody, ronarray here, and after Absolution got significantly buffed in 3.28, I decided to play it as my own starter. So a few days ago I posted my Absolution Guardian starter, and it went pretty great. But some of you guys have been asking me for a Necromancer version of it instead. So I decided to adapt it to Necromancer as well, and here it is. I believe that Absolution will be a pretty smooth and comfortable starter that you can proceed with early on and later swap to Doriani's setup for more damage to conquer all content in the game, or to any other build you like. In this video, I'm going to cover the main difference between Necro and Guardian versions. Personally, I'm going to league start Absolution Guardian, so if you want to follow me in that journey, click on Guardian video that I will leave in the description and in the pinned comment too. But if you want to play Necromancer for any other reason, I hope this will help you. If you appreciate me doing the Necromancer version as well, or generally listening to all of you guys, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And let's go! So, when we are discussing the difference between Necromancer and Guardian, it's pretty important to understand that most of the time you are taking Chaos Ascendancy right here for at least 2 points to get Corruption Embrace. It's working both for Necromancer and for Guardian, because you will need Shepherd of Souls to have Vaal non-aura skills require 80% less souls. And Priest of Yarmark right here is pretty nice as well, because it's reducing soul gain prevention duration and helping you a lot with your uptime. So both Guardian and Necromancer perfectly will need to spend at least 4 points there. That's leaving only 4 points for your main Ascendancy itself, so for Necromancer in the end it's going to be just up to Bone Barrier, and when you're playing Guardian you're going to get Radiant Crusade and Unvarying Crusade. Since you're getting Sentinel of Radiance from Radiant Crusade, it's a pretty nice bonus and it should help a lot with early campaign. And I believe that getting 3 auras from Unvarying Crusade should help a lot with damage early on as well. So I believe the Guardian is going to be more stable option early, compared to Necromancer, which on the other hand is going to get pretty nice leech, so 1% of damage dealt by your minions is leech to you as life, which is going to help with survivability, especially later on in the endgame. Both options are perfectly viable, and the difference between two of them is not that big. So if you're going Necromancer, you're going to get a little better sustain later on, and if you're playing Guardian, you'll get like more damage early on. That's like the main difference. And I also believe that Guardian can get a little more auras if you get Unwavering Faith before you will get your Chaos Ascendancy. Necromancer, on the other hand, can utilize Commander of Darkness before you will swap to Doriani's, and also Plaguebringer for additional bonuses, which is pretty nice. However, the main point right here, since you're going to heavily invest into Chaos, you're practically making the choice pretty simple, and both Ascendancies are going to be very similar. And in the 3, you're also going to reach Enduring Bond anyway, because you will need Minion duration and skill duration. That way, both Guardian coming from there going to Enduring Bond, and Necromancer is practically going like that and reaching Enduring Bond too. So, difference between those two is not too big, and that's only personal choice. Personally, I'm going to play Guardian, especially since I will try to experiment with some additional things that Guardian currently have, and Guardian got buffed as well, which is pretty nice, so Sentinel is currently permanent minion, and I would definitely like to play and test it. So for the Necromancer, let's talk about the difference while leveling and difference in the build in general. So for early leveling, we're going to follow literally the same way like we did with Guardian Absolution, because the setup is very similar. The only big difference is that you're starting at the right part. I believe that you can also swap to Absolution around level 14, and it's going to be pretty comfortable after you get basic minion nodes right here for Lord of the Dead, and to the left for like Enduring Bond. So Enduring Bond is probably one of the most important nodes, because it's going to give you direction and it's going to feel much better playing Absolution with that. So right here you will be able to just progress in the similar way as a Guardian. And talking about your Ascendancies, First Ascendancy, I believe that going for Commander of the Darkness is going to be the best. It's going to provide additional bonuses for your minions, increased damage, and elemental resistances for you too. After that, it's making sense to go for Bone Barrier, and around level 90, I believe getting Plague Bringer is a pretty nice thing for additional damage and damage reduction. So Mistress of Sacrifice is a very good thing to help you out with the block, so we can get a better block chance. But I really believe that early on it's easier to use Offering for just damage, and Plague Bringer itself is going to provide you additional survivability and additional damage too, so I believe it's easier to go for Plague Bringer instead. If you feel like you really need cap block at this moment, feel free to just drop Plague Bringer around level 90 and take Mistress of Sacrifice with block Offering instead. And around level 96, you're going to go the same way like Guardian, you're practically just getting Dorianis, and after you will get Doriani, you will be able to use Divine Flash together with Dawnbreaker and Watcher's Eye. That setup could be a little expensive, so you will probably play at level 90 a little longer. And when you go to level 96, you also will keep only 4 points in your Ascendancy with Necromancer, and the rest goes to Chaos right here. Also, since you're playing Necromancer and not a Guardian, you will not have 3 auras. So we will need to get Wrath aura from a Spectre, and that's a pretty important part right here, because Spectre is going to play a very significant role in our damage, especially later on. So to get the Spectre for it, we will need Perfect Spirit of Fortune. It will give you Wrath for monster abilities, and lightning damage of nearby allies is lucky, which is pretty nice. It's pretty important because we don't have any other option to get the Wrath, so getting that monster as a Spectre is a pretty nice thing. Other Spectres could be a basic defensive ones, or something for like an Onslaught, for example, if you prefer that. I'm probably going to cover it as a separate part a little later on for both Guardian and Necromancer, so stay tuned for it. Another interesting topic, it's pretty much Minion offense masteries. So initially we're just taking increased area of effect because it's going to help us to clear better with Absolution. But later on, I believe that Minion offense for like Minion penetrates cursed enemies elemental resistance is looking pretty nice. And so is Minion offense for like increased effect of offerings because it's going to provide additional damage. But another interesting topic is minions have 20% increased cooldown recovery rate. Since we are going to play an Absolution with a basic quality, which at the moment gives minions have 40% increased cooldown recovery rate, it's going to give our minions right here is a pretty decent cooldown for skills. So every 3.7 seconds they're going to use Empowered Blast. And that's the ability that got 40% AoE and 40% damage buff in 3.28. Which is pretty nice. So I'm mostly taking that mastery to improve their damage in general just from that ability, especially since it helps a lot with clearing. And the last part that pretty much differs Necromancer from such options as a Guardian, we can get Flash and Flame to get any abilities from Occultist or from Elementalist itself. So generally, people pretty often going for Leech of the Primordial, which could be a very nice option if you can get 2 more golems into the build. So when we are looking at especially expensive variations, when you spend only 4 points right here, you can spend 2 slots for Leech of Primordial right here, but keep in mind that it lost 50% increased effect buffs granted by your golems, so you're only taking it for resummoning and for +2 to maximum numbers of summoned golems. That's the only way. I believe in 3.28 it's going to be significantly less strong, so I'm not really recommending to go for it at the moment, so I'm not spending those points. And if I would go for Flash and Flame, there's a bigger chance that I would try to go for Mistress of Sacrifice, for example, if I would like to get block easier, or even for Plague Bringer just for additional 10% damage reduction and 10% more damage. So the last part, since I'm going to league start the Absolution Guardian myself, even if you're going to play Necromancer, it's going to be very close to what I'm doing at the Guardian. So you can practically just follow my journey as a Guardian and use the materials that I'm going to develop in the process too. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope your 3.28 start is going to be absolutely amazing. See you next time, and ronarray out.